What's going on, my friends, and welcome to this edition of Off Base. It's your girl, LG Red, Lauren Gardner, alongside Xavier Scruggs. X, we are back for another week. Survive in advance, as I like to say with this show and this duo. What a week it's been around baseball, including the celebration of Jackie Robinson Day, a man who is celebrated and honored by so many.
Yeah, it's my favorite day in baseball just because the respect that we show for him, somebody that grinded to get to where he was, right? But also paved the way for so many, including myself, not just to play this game, but also think about being an analyst, like talking about this game as well after my playing days. I love seeing the guys in the uniforms. I like seeing what the guy, we saw Jazz Chisholm with the baggy pants, guys just doing whatever they can, whether it would be the shoes, so many different elements that we bring, not just the jersey now. There's a lot of things that guys are doing, but one day that everybody gets to wear 42, how special is that? And be able to honor him in so many different ways now.
It really is, and it's about so much more than just the sport of baseball and what it represented for the civil rights movement. So yes, kudos to everyone who's out there celebrating and honoring Jackie Robinson. Are you ready to move the needle?
Yeah, let's move it.
We had some more big news around Major League Baseball. How about this week? There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Aaron Judge is suiting up for Team USA and the World Baseball Classic. Him and D-Row, what a dynamic duo, first of all.
My goodness. I mean, if there's a guy to go to have first to make that announcement, like, let's make a statement. Let's go get the captain.
Were you shocked by that? I mean, even look at the press conference. I was talking to D-Row here in the makeup room, like just down the hall before he went to Yankee Stadium for this press conference. He's like, I don't even know if I'll be on stage. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know if you'll be on stage? You're the skipper for Team USA. So humble. But he's like, he's the vibes guy.
And I also think about, like, Judge is the right guy as far as that humbleness, too, when you think about having a captain on your squad, right? Like, that's the type of character, that's the type of person, the personality, the energy that I want to set the tone for my team. And he's not going to be someone that's overly emotional, not going to be not enough, right? He's even keel. That's the main one right there.
You 100% nailed that. I loved covering the Yankees during the postseason last year and seeing Judge. You're right. He was the even keel guy. He was 100% the leader on that team, and deservedly so for not just the way he performs on the diamond, but just his demeanor, not just in the clubhouse, but in the dugout. He even gave me, I was told after they clinched, go to the World Series, like, no more questions. I was like, hey, man, can I just get one quick interview at the clubhouse champagne shower? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Just he's a great guy. He is the consummate pro, and he literally is like Captain America. Of course, he should be the leader of this team.
Exactly. He mentioned wanting to do it previously, but he was going through the free agency stuff the last time out. And he talked about how tough it was for him to, like, sit at home watching it, you know? So you can only imagine how much fire he has for getting out there and playing for USA and representing his country. Because that's the biggest thing, is these guys are now representing their country, and you're seeing more participation, and more guys are going to want to do it because Aaron Judge.
Hey, listen, we have our sister network, NHL Network, right across the hallway, and we saw what the Four Nations Face-Off did for the sport of hockey, because everyone was throwing down for their country, and I have a feeling that's exactly how it's going to be for the WBC in 2026. Okay, so D-Row, running it back as a skipper, has a really tough job putting this lineup together, not just with talking to players, agents, GMs, managers, and then if they agree to play, what is playing contingent upon? So I put my D-Row hat on and decided to put together my own Team USA lineup. Manager LG. I don't know if I'd really be able to command that room. I'd be like, this girl's a clown. But here we go. So I would
good vibes. I know that.
The vibes would be high. I would 100% be the vibes guy. That's what I was on my softball team. My manager, coach was like, this is why we keep you around. I did win MVP a couple times. I was the captain, but I was definitely the vibes guy. Okay, not to brag. We're leading off with Mookie Betts at second, three-time World Series winner, obviously MVP, 8-time All-Star, two-spot playing first. Bryce Harper, same deal, 2-time MVP, 8-time All-Star. Aaron Judge, the captain, we're putting him in right. Okay, so wrap your head around this one. That's where he is now, so I think that's a good spot for him. 2-time MVP, 6-time All-Star. Gunnar Henderson at third, obviously All-Star last year. I was really torn between him and Bregman. Because Bregman's having a good year, but Breggy, you know, this is his walk year again. Could be a free agent, kind of focused on his new team. Bobby Witt Jr. at short, obviously All-Star. We have the youth getting thrown in here along with Gunnar Henderson. Won batting title, basically all the titles, MVP runner-up last year. As we go down my list here, Corbin Carroll in left, also a very hard one because we have Kyle Tucker in the mix. But again, Tucker is going to be a free agent, so maybe he's going to be, he's going to be busy. Yeah, and also I wanted to go with the speed on the base pass with Corbin Carroll.
Okay.
He also did leave the Diamondbacks to, World Series run at least. And obviously didn't win a couple years ago. So that was my reasoning there. Mike Trout. This was a tough one. This was a very tough one, but I feel like Team USA would not be complete without one Michael Trout. He's going to be DHing. D-Row, you have that conversation with him, 11-time All-Star, 3 MVPs. We just need him to get a trophy.
Yeah.
Even though, I know he's going to be a little on the older side, but, we're balancing out the outfield with some youth there. Adley Rutschman behind the plate. Also, I know a big dumper was in the mix, but he'll be on that team. But this is like, we're playing Japan in the final. Jackson Merrill's going to round things out here. Center field, I think he's already off to an outstanding start. We're projecting forward here with some of these young guys, right?
Yes.
So I think he's going to continue to have that upside. All-Star as a rookie, almost Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger, and he'll be that second leadoff guy.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this lineup?
It's wild.
I stressed over it with our researcher, Mark Sales.
And I think you have to ask Mookie Betts to play second base because that's the weakest offensive position for Team USA, right? When you think about it. I think Tim Anderson was asked to play second base last year. So if Mookie can slide over from short to second. And McNeil, that's right. That would be great. I need Kyle Tucker in this lineup, though.
Okay, but so do you replace Corbin Carroll?
No, I'm asking him to DH. I'm asking, Mike Trout might have to take a back seat at a certain point right now for Kyle Tucker.
Wow. I struggled with this.
And it may not be every day. This might be a matchup
This
type
is your
thing.
final game. This is literally the final. We'll just throw out Japan.
Guess who's starting as Ohtani? So I gotta if Ohtani started, I gotta have Tucker in there.
You want Tucker in there, but what if he's distracted and he's focused on spring training with his new team?
That's the toughest one. So I got 3. I even think I might have Austin Riley play third. Gunnar, I understand he can play third too, but
Austin
it might
Riley's
be
definitely on the team, by the way.
Yeah. Austin Riley's on the team. I might ask him to play third, depending upon left or right matchup. And Cal Raleigh's in my starting lineup right now. There's no doubt he's in my starting lineup.
So you don't want Adley. I mean, I feel like Adley calls a great game. He's a good leader.
Yeah, he's cool.
You also have like the mix of, you have the veteran leadership, but I wanted some of those young guns in there in that lineup to like mix it up.
Like
you need that chemistry, that perfect combination. I was trying to find the vibes guy. I think Gunnar Henderson might be the vibes guy.
Okay, he could be the vibes guy.
Or it's just D-Row. D-Row's all vibes all the time.
But give me Cal Raleigh right now, because both of them switch hitters,
the
right?
Platinum dumper.
But this dude is unreal right now.
But if you're projecting to next year,
what?
You still want him? I mean, we're assuming a lot of things are going to unfold over the course of this season.
That's what I'm saying. They're right. Things are going to happen, right? But Adley may be in one of those situations where he's looking at maybe signing an extension, and he's like, I might chill for a second.
Yeah.
Who knows?
D-Row has a tough job. At
Jackson
the end of the day, Mark DeRosa, we do not
First of all, Jackson was like in Korea last year, just hoping to be on this squad.
He was like, I'm just happy to be here. And
now he's our
starting center fielder.
That's what, hey.
Who else would you start in center over him?
Nah, you can't. I wouldn't start anybody over him in center.
Yeah, I love Judge and Wright.
Yeah, no, Jackson's got to be in center because also the speed factor too, right? He does different things. Defensively, he'd be great. I love what Corbin Carroll's doing right now. I like your squad.
And you want the speed on the base pass. Okay, real quick before we move on, can I throw out something wild? What if Pete Alonso, who we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the show, is having a tournament? Yeah. Do you ask Bryce Harper to step aside?
That's what I asked D-Row about this, like these conversations with these guys.
Crazy.
And he said he's brutally honest with the guys, like
that's great.
Because that's all you can really do.
You have to, and guys respect that.
Yeah, because think about it, these are dudes that are giving away some of their off season or maybe some of that spring training to say, hey, I'm playing for Team USA. I expect to play.
Yeah.
Like I don't expect to just sit on this bench right now.
Exactly.
Especially if I'm a perennial all-star.
Well, let's be honest. All these guys are great. They're consummate teammates, but there's still egos at play. Look at all the World Series titles you have in this lineup. Look at all the MVP titles.
None of these dudes want to come off the bench.
No!
And I talked to D-Row about that too, and he was like, that's why some of the guys it may not be necessarily the best player. It may be a guy that may fit the role better, right? Like maybe that left-handed bat off the bench that
Great point.
is good at being flexible, playing multiple positions, something like that too. So it may not just be an all-star that you're saying, hey, I need you to come off the bench, right?
A total chess match. It's not going to be an easy decision, and some of it may be completely out of his hands. This isn't, again, the agents, the players, GMs of the teams, and of course managers who are allowing these players to be on loan from their big league teams. We have some representation with other countries here. Yes. Let's talk about Francisco Lindor. Yeah, let's go international. Francisco Lindor was already announced as the team captain for Team Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
How cool is this? Of course he should be. And I feel like now we have the Big Apple repping in WBC. So it's already setting the tone. Yeah, you have two of the biggest stars in baseball. So I feel like this is setting the stage for an epic WBC.
Yes, and I don't want us to forget like how talented some of these other countries are, right? Like
Great
Lindor for Team Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is going to be in there.
Yep.
Obviously, we talk a lot about Dominican, Venezuela.
Venezuela's
These teams have gone out and really showed us, some guys have better performances in the WBC than they do here. Because there's a different type of feeling to it, right? Like we want to put our country on the map as far as baseball goes.
Yeah.
And I would say the same that's how Japan took it last year.
Yes.
Remember Ohtani gathered the dudes and was like, yo, we always look up to these guys as like heroes, not today. We're not doing that today.
Yep.
So I appreciate that, and I feel like that's got to be the same way everybody else looks at it.
Hey, listen, I'm all about Team USA. I will be rocking whatever gear I need to. I am so pumped for this upcoming WBC. I think Mark DeRosa is the exact right person to lead the charge. And, of course, Aaron Judge, congratulations on being named Captain America. It's like you were born to be a superhero. When we come back, speaking of superheroes and tweens, Pete Alonso may not have been the biggest free agent signing this offseason, but he is making a splash. You're going to break him down after this.
He's got 3 career grand slams. One of them was against Miami.
In the air, deep right center, back toward the gap. Myers near the wall, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso, grand slam! First home run of the year for Alonso, his 4th career grand slam, and it's 6-1 New York.
Time for a little bit of extra credit. Pete Alonso proving that he might be worth every single penny. And betting on himself was probably a good idea if he continues to play this way, because he will be a free agent once again with that opt-out clause here this upcoming offseason. Something interesting we've noticed about his game X, he struck out 172 times last season. Over half of those strikeouts were on pitches he chased out of the zone. How has he been able to fill up some of those holes in his swing?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with. As a player, you're trying to figure out what are the holes from last year? How do I attack those and make that adjustment? And as you mentioned, a lot of chase outside of the zone, especially with 2 strikes. He was 6th in Major League Baseball for swinging strikes outside of the zone with 2 strikes.
Wow.
So what you saw last year was a lot of off balance, especially with 2 strikes. Like the approach was just off in general, right? You see him go down to a knee a lot of times. It's like, yo, Pete, where's your balance at? So from a mental standpoint, it wasn't quite there. And now I've understood that something clicked at a certain point, because last year he only had 4 opposite field home runs all in 162 games. But then when it got to the postseason, he hit 3 out opposite field. So there's a new 2-strike opposite field approach. You saw it click against Devin Williams in that wild card series. He talked to the hitting coach and said, hey, get something out over the plate. Stay with it. Let it get deep. And he finally trusted himself to do that. And we didn't really see that all season long up until the postseason. But now he's also taken that into the regular season, and he's stuck with that same approach. And for me, a lot of times as hitters, we think, get to the pull side, get to the pull side. That's where our power is. That's where our launch angle is. That's where our hard hit percentage is. I think for Pete, ultimately, it's about laying off of tough pitches and expecting something that he can get out over the plate and drive the other way. Let it get deep enough. We see this grand slam earlier on in the season, just fighting to get to that pitch, fighting to get to an opportunity there. And I think he's more so than anything started to say, yo, let me back this pitch up. I don't need to get barrel out in front. I don't need to try to go get this pitch. And I think one of the things we saw last year was him chasing so many pitches that his ground ball percentage even went up to 42%. And it had been 36% years previously. So, like, trying to fight to get something down and trying to get the barrel out in front instead of saying, okay, let me just relax a little bit with 2 strikes specifically. Let me understand that they're trying to attack me outside of the zone. They know I'm going to chase out there. They're going to keep throwing it until I show them otherwise.
That discipline, yeah.
And I think that's what we've seen now for him. And look, I look at now it's gotten to a point to where he's had 4 opposite field home runs this year. That's, that him and Ohtani tied for the most with 2 strikes out of his 5 home runs. And I just look at when I see something that works as a hitter, I've got to keep going to that. Like, I can't try to change that. And I credit him and commend him for saying, let me make an adjustment during a time that it's hard in the postseason.
Commit to it.
Stay with it, work on it in the offseason. Seeing him work on it in Tampa in the offseason, that's where I live. And then continue to bring that into spring training and into this season during a time of turmoil, LG. Remember, it was not an easy offseason for him.
For Pete.
So, yeah, you think about some of those things from a mental standpoint, but for him to stick with that, true sign of a professional.
It really is. And obviously one of the huge benefits of the Mets getting him back in their lineup is that he's providing protection for Juan Soto. Soto had some things to say earlier this week. It's definitely different. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me. He's referring to Aaron Judge when he was with the Yankees last year. I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year. Well, what happens if Pete Alonso, I'm not saying he's Aaron Judge, this might be apples to oranges, but if he starts hitting like this, what will this do to benefit Juan Soto?
It only helps him, right? Now, he's being truthful talking about how he's being pitched, right? He's being pitched differently. But the same thing, the thing I think about is now he's got to make the adjustment. You pay him $765 million to make adjustments. He's got to be the best at making adjustments, right? So maybe something he could have kept to himself, but I appreciate the honesty, him talking to the media. But knowing in New York, what's that media going to do? They're going to go right to Aaron Judge.
That up.
They're going to go to Aaron Judge, come back to him, right? That's what's going to happen
Judge
naturally.
had some nice things to say about Alonso, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, because he understands what's going on in the league. I commend Judge for knowing, hey, Alonso's raking right now. So there are no excuses. But I don't think it was an excuse. I think it was him saying, almost out loud.
That was an honest answer.
I've got to figure out what to do now differently. And even if I am pitched differently, but I do have – Let's remember, I do have one of the better hitters, if not one of the best hitters right now going behind me. And as a hitter, I've got to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we already know that the Mets at this point in time have some of the best pitching in baseball. If they can get things going in that lineup, let's not forget, Francisco Lindor also in that lineup. Once they get things going there, this is going to be a team to contend with.
Yeah.
Very well done. Extra credit.
I appreciate you.
Plus. All the pluses. Well,
I had fun with that.
Done. When we come back, okay, how fun is this? Patrick Corbin had an outing to remember on Wednesday. Well, it almost didn't happen, but what propelled him to this kind of greatness? You'll be surprised when we come back. Hey, listen, this show is a vibe, so we're always checking said vibe. How about this in the Rangers clubhouse? Bruce Bochy had a surprise today during media session saying that lefty Patrick Corbin almost didn't pitch on Wednesday night after getting bitten on the foot by a spider. You can't make this stuff up. He hobbled into the clubhouse but improved enough to pitch. Bochy said it was 50-50. Well, he ended up being well enough to pitch.
Yeah.
He went 5 1/3. 6 punchies, 1 earned run, got the win over the Angels. So I guess the venom was good. Patrick.
The venom was good.
I don't know. Have you ever been bit by a spider that was that severe?
All I have to say is with great power comes great responsibility. And he took care of business. The weirdest stuff is happening this year.
I know.
Freddie Freeman in the showers. We don't know what happened, but
yeah, we're not even a full
Corbin,
month into the season.
I know, we just getting going.
I've heard of some crazy injuries, but that one is that's a new one. We can add that to the list.
Dang, that scares me. That haunts me a little bit. I wouldn't.
You ever heard of a
wouldn't want any part of that.
recluse?
What's that?
Those things can kill you and they're just tiny.
See, now you scared
They're like
me.
cleaning
I
out
can't
the
even
attic.
go to sleep
I
tonight.
don't think they're in Florida. You should be good. If anyone's listening or watching this, why don't you go ahead and let us know if brown recluses can be found in
you don't
Tampa,
know.
Florida. I know they're in like certain parts of the country, but either way, they're really nasty spiders. Okay, it is time to move on because this is making me uncomfortable and I have total
You brought it up.
arachnophobia. I know I did, but you know this is true to form here for our show. Hot food takes. Are you ready for
Yes, finally.
the new food that is debuted at Marlins Park? It's a hot dog tower, including 4 hot dogs, 4 Polish sausages, 4 corn dogs, that's a throwback, and loaded salchipapas, which is basically French fries with hot dogs and sausage. Looks like there's some cheese on there at the top. Also has all the fixins.
That one's for me. That one is for me.
It's $85.
That's not
The
for
whole tower?
that's not for my friends. That's not for the group. That one
That's
is for
12
me.
hot dogs, X.
Because, well, let me take some bites out of some different things, right? Like, let me get the hot dog, let me get the corn dog, let me put a little bit of the French fries with a little bit of the sausage on top. All that's for me.
Delicious. I feel like this belongs in Milwaukee. I'm a little surprised this was a staple in Miami.
I'm proud of them for doing something like this. You know what it is? It's almost like a fake seafood type look tower.
It's a seafood tower, but it's hot dogs.
I love
It's the
that.
most baseball thing ever. I'm here for it. I feel like that could feed like a family of 4 for $85. That might be one of the best deals in baseball.
And then you would dip the hot dogs in the beer, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can't right now, but
I know,
at
yeah.
some
Well, when
point
we go
down
back,
the-
yeah, it's 7
at
months
some
pregnant,
point
no
down the
hot
line.
dogs and beer. But yeah, we'll run that back at some point in time. I think that's still a thing. Are we still dipping hot dogs in beer?
Anything on your hot dog? Mustard, ketchup?
Oh, I mean, it's very controversial. I have to say brown mustard, right?
If you,
Are
that's
you
what
a
you said.
ketchup guy?
Give me some relish.
Oh,
a little bit of
wow.
relish.
Just
I said
this
relish.